It's Bruce Boudreau.
Hey, Jay.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
First of all, how'd you like the hockey game?
I loved it. I loved the way the result was. I mean, you know what? When you're looking at, like I look at coaches and that, and the results that Kris Knoblauch is getting on the one side, even Pete DeBoer, the way they do the interviews after, I really think it's really top notch, and maybe that's why they're in the Final Four.
Let's talk about Kris Knoblauch for a second. Not only does he put Ryan McLeod back in the lineup, he puts Corey Perry in the lineup, then he puts them in the top 6. So he just throws them right in there, and it pays off. Like, as a coach, you had to love that, the guts.
Well, the guts is great, and I could picture all the reporters in Edmonton going, oh my God, what's he doing?
Yeah.
But in the end, the coach knows the players better than anybody. And so, like, no matter who's doing the critiquing or whatever, he's got the pulse on the team, and he knew where they were going to fit, and he had the conviction to do it, which is usually the hardest part, is that I'd really like to play that guy up front, but I don't have the guts. But he did it, and it worked out. And, like, I think that's and it goes the opposite way, too. The respect the players have for him, because you're going to show confidence in putting me back in the lineup.
That's right.
Especially for, like, Broberg, who hasn't played since April 18th. I'm going to show you I can do the job. That's good coaching.
I also love the fact, you mentioned Darnell Nurse, the fact that Connor Brown comes to his defense, at the end of the game. Nurse, I think all season long, because of the money he makes, he's a subject of criticism a lot, and he was especially a subject of criticism after Game 3. How do you think he responded with those 12 hits?
12 hits, he's up in the play. Like, when we played him, especially when I was in Vancouver, I played Edmonton a lot, is that, he's such a tough guy to stop, because he loves to rush the puck, got a great shot, he's physical, he can beat you up. And when he's hitting like that, boy, you wonder, there's a reason he's making that money, because there's not too many people that can do what he can do. So he's, and the funny thing this is funny, because every day, all year long, you listen to the analytics people, and they're saying, you know what, we don't care about plus minus. It's a terrible stat. We don't worry about it. Now, once you go to minus 12 in the playoffs, oh my God, he's minus 12.
That's right.
Get rid of him.
That's right.
It's such a dumb thing, because, you're either going to like plus minus or you're going to not like it, but you can't use it both ways.
I agree with you 100%. Now, let's talk about the fact that the Oilers were able to score shorthanded. That was, by the way, that shorthanded goal by Matthias Janmark was the first special teams goal of any type in this series. So the penalty kill's working on both sides, but especially for Edmonton, they're able to stop Dallas in the neutral zone, which is really tough to do.
Well, if you watch them, when they play their 1-3, that means one guy forward and 3 guys are at the blue line. They get to the blue line, and they know they're attacking that pass. So, they're not backing up and letting them chip the puck behind them. As soon as the defenseman makes the pass to the first forward, and you'll probably see it on the highlights here, is that they attack him and break up the play at the blue line rather than letting them get it in deep and setting up.
Right.
And even on the goal, if you look, again, they're 1-3-1 across. Once they have a miscue, the 2 forwards are playing high enough that's how that's created the 2-on-1 the other way. So the Oilers are doing a great job in reading and attacking, not letting Dallas set up, and there's nothing more frustrating than having a bad power play, for the coach and for the offensive players that are on the ice. They come back to the bench steaming.
Let's talk about Stuart Skinner. And we were talking about Kris Knoblauch. He took Skinner out in the Vancouver series, put Calvin Pickard in. We thought maybe he might do the same thing here. He sticks with Skinner. Skinner gives up the 2 goals in the first 4 shots, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is a disaster, but he was solid the rest of the way.
Well, he had a shutout for 54 minutes. So, that's pretty good. And, I don't think it would have worked at all the first time. And the coach knows the players, he knows Stuart Skinner's going to say, okay, you know what, let's put Calvin in. I haven't been great, but if I get in again, I'm going to show him. So he shows him, he wins the series against Vancouver, has a mediocre game last game, the 4th goal wasn't a good goal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, if they had taken him out, I think it would have been a different attitude. I think it would have been, I make a mistake and nobody else makes a mistake.
Yeah.
So the coach, again, does a great job in showing confidence in the player. The player comes back. There was nothing he could do. Johnson's first shot, top shelf, offside, the stick's in the middle of the ice. It's a 2-on-1. He's looking both ways. What are you going to do? And the second shot is an in-off off the defenseman that sneaks in over the pad. But after that, that third save he made that was right in front of the net.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as he made that save, I think he went, okay, I'm back. And because that could have been 3-0, which could have been a death knell, or he did what he did, and then for the rest of the game, he was on fire.
I think a lot of people thought that Dallas might out-hit the Oilers in this series, be more physical than the Oilers. I'm looking at these numbers for the hits in Game 4. 47-23 in favor of Edmonton. We talked about Nurse with the 12 hits. Does this surprise you somewhat? And do you think it benefits Edmonton to play that heavier game?
Well, I think Edmonton's got a heavy team. They've got to play that heavy game. And Dallas, they're just a good team. They're not overly big. They're not overly fast. They're not overly young. They're not overly old. But they all know how to play hockey. And they got a great coach in Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott. But I mean, that being said, I think Edmonton, when they can play heavy and they can create turnovers, to me, especially if Tanev is out now, and they've got to play a 39-year-old Ryan Suter more than the 18, 19 minutes that he's been used to since he's come over there, I think they can wear them down pretty good.
So going into Friday night in Dallas, that'll be Game 5. We're now a best of 3. Adding that Tanev factor into it, do you like the Oilers' chances here?
I do. I always want to be the road team on Game 5.
Right.
Because even if we lose, we know we got a shot. Unfortunately, I've lost too many Game 7s. I win all the Game 5s, but nobody gives me the accolades for that. When you lose the Game 7s and you're done.